welcome back to the Work Cultured Podcast. I am privileged today to be with our friend Abhishek Kaushik, and you are in downtown San Francisco. Abhi is the co-founder and CEO of WeCP. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today, Abhi. How are you today?
Hey, Daniel. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. Would you mind take a few moments? Tell me a little bit more about your history, your career up to this point, and kind of what got you to today with WeCP.
Oh, well, so flashing back, when we started VCP, we were just, engineering grads, and we wanted to automate a bunch of these, you know, boring tasks. And let me,
Sure.
let me tell you, as an engineer, we all want to like write code to make cool things. I think I remember back in my university, me and my co-founder, we used to design coding problems for companies like Google, Meta, and we used to like manually frame those questions, um, which Google and Meta and these like fan companies would use to interview other engineers, like to hire them. And that was like a manual task, and that's where we started building an AI which should automatically generate these kind of questions. And I'm talking about the era where there was no Gen AI, there was no ChatGPT. That's how we
Okay.
started.
And
And
how many years ago was this?
I think that was in the year 2016. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So towards like in the middle of 15 and in that period. Um, and that's how VCP started. We started as an AI research project where we wanted to automate generation of programming challenges, largely like, coding interview problems. And we went out and got some customers and then started experimenting our ideas, and we figured that there is a huge market in the recruiting space where we can probably build a much more full stack solution where these problems can be used, and we can build environment for people to solve it. And that's how VCP became a skill assessment company. But we are trying to expand even more right now and trying to build world's best AI recruiting agency, which was like a platform which does everything for you on its own.
Okay. Now you and I are connected on LinkedIn, and I kind of chuckled the other day as I saw a specific post that you made. And I'm going to tell you about the post, and then I'd love for you to kind of elaborate on it. But you showed a screenshot from an interview, and then you showed, which I'm going to be honest, I have this much knowledge of coding, right? I can do some very basic. I can add a page break or a line break, right? That's about it. But what you showed was a screenshot, and then it's talked about in this red line, in this red box, this was showing that the interviewer on the other side was using some technology to kind of cheat this interview. So would you tell us a little bit more about that, and kind of what's the gravity of that, and how is it really helping people,
Yeah,
helping companies?
absolutely. Absolutely. So, the post was about Sherlock. Sherlock is a AI
Sherlock, there you
agent.
go.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sherlock is an AI agent, that makes sure your remote interviewing process is not compromised, and that ensures that your remote interviewing process on Zoom, Teams, Meet, wherever you conduct them, is safe and candidate is not able to like really cheat and use AI assisted apps, and keeping phone just next to the computer and then reading answers from there, all of those. So we believe that remote work is going to stay. We believe that remote hiring is going to stay, and we believe that
Yeah.
remote interviewing is going to stay. Because imagine, you are interviewing with somebody and you're interviewing with like 10 companies. You can't travel to all the 10 companies. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like it's mad. You can't go back. So somebody's got to
Yeah.
solve this problem. Somebody's got to like really solve this problem. While on the candidate side, there are apps being built which lets you cheat, more smartly. And one of such app was there was an app released and that went really viral, where you can install that app on your Zoom. The interviewer will not be able to see that you are using that app, but that app can read the question, flashed on the Zoom screen, and it can automatically convert those, take the picture of the question, convert those into text, send it to ChatGPT, get responses, and you can like literally read the read the answers, and look at the eyes of the interviewers and those kind of stuff. So there are like sophisticated apps which allows candidates to cheat well. And Sherlock was designed to be on the interviewer side and to like really make integrity of interviews better. And that's why Sherlock today is used by world's like faster growing companies, leading AI labs, to make sure that interviewers can have quality conversation, while Sherlock takes care of all these new sense. Like now look at um, the first capability that I posted, which was it detected an app which was running on Zoom to cheat.
Yeah.
While we're trying to like make sure that Sherlock has more human-like capabilities. It's an agent which can hear, which can like hear the sound, which can see, has a vision capability, and which can also reason. So even if you're looking at a phone skipping next to you, it can like
It can
really,
catch that.
it can track the trajectory of eyes and try to understand like if this person is reading off the screen. Reading on the screen is good, okay, but
That's
then reading
crazy.
off the screen has certain movement patterns, and then we've trained our models, we've trained Sherlock to do that job like really well, while maintaining the candidate experience and data privacy and all of that intact. So yeah, that was about, and the post went viral. I mean, we've got about
Yeah.
50 new users just from that post. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And me watching that and seeing some of the comments and, some, candidates almost not liking that. But then as I take a step back, I mean, think about it. Like these companies, they're spending not only tons of money on the recruiting process, but then we're talking about, I mean, as a developer, these are not low paying positions. These are high paying positions that companies are paying. And then for someone to just come in and be able to cheat the system, I mean, what a mess. So
Yeah.
there's got to be a checks and balances to protect. And yeah, for me, I cannot imagine cheating my way into a job. And then how long is that going to be sustainable? Am I going to now cheat my way through this job? I mean, it just sounds like a recipe for disaster. So really exciting to see some technology that is, yeah, it's kind of leveling the playing field and saying like, look, if you're going to try to be a cheater, you're not
Yeah.
going to get this job, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love to see that, and I love seeing because there are so many people out there on LinkedIn that kind of they follow this, like they read a post or they create a post and it's just, hey, this is this cool thing I'm doing, and hey, oh, you're doing a cool thing too, that's great. But I watch what you post on LinkedIn and it is challenging, it is thought provoking, it is like it's pushing people to have to engage and not just click on a screen and go, good job, thanks for sharing, Abhishek. I mean, it is like it's ruffling some feathers, as we like to say. So I really love to see that.
Well, thank you,
So
thank you.
good for
Appreciate
you,
that.
buddy.
Appreciate that. And then, you know, I also think that it's sometimes even honest candidate, they just want to maximize the chance of selection, and because there are options available, they
Sure.
just get swayed away. I think it's always important to like maintain the integrity of such an important process, which took like over years to design. Like remote interviewing
Sure.
took it like it's a work of decades by professionals to make this, you know, to make interviewing possible remotely. And
Yeah.
today we can't like let just that go just because AI can be leveraged in the wrong way. Yeah.
Yeah. And for someone like me, I mean, I'm 42 years old. And, when I first started out in the workforce, it was very much like, oh, well, print out a copy of your resume and take it into that business. And, and I'm sure some that may still happen some, but yeah, with the technology and the tools that are available today, what I find now, let's be honest, I have not worked for someone else in years. I don't have it in me to work for another company. But if I were to get back in and say, hey, I'm going to interview and I'm going to put myself out there to try to get a job working for another organization, I feel like I would want as best as I could to show them who I am and be
Yep.
as human as possible in a world that's just full of AI and technology. So using AI, I don't know, I that that's just kind of my take on it. But
Yeah.
so Abhi, we've gotten pretty far in here. I've already enjoyed our chat, but now I must do what I always do and start with that honest and raw question of, would you mind share with us a mistake that you've made as a leader that you will never forget?
Um, Great question. I think I think it's all ties back to what I do today, and it's recruiting, hiring. Um, I mean, I wouldn't forget a moment where I actually trusted, people without really knowing anything about, that person, and and
Sure.
and 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 appointed, the person on really important positions. So what happens is, in the early stage when you're starting up a company, um, you hire somebody who's like very senior from some other company, um, and you are not ready for them, right?
Yeah.
That's one situation, and another situation is that you hire a really, like medium level position or maybe junior to medium level position, and you make a in your company a vice president, or make him, a really give him a really senior position. So I think one mistake that I've always made is, I mean, in the past I have made is, now I don't, is is like, avoiding titles, to people,
Mm,
which was, I think, when I did not know much um about recruiting, and when I was myself like starting up, it was difficult for me to kind of like understand, the titles don't really mean,
yeah.
and mean anything. It's all about like impact that a person can. So hiring is way, way, more than just crafting titles, and
Yeah.
that's one mistake I wouldn't forget, that I made that mistake like, at least 2 to 3 times in, while hiring, that hiring people just because weighing more them on title versus, really measuring their skills, and then impact they can deliver in future.
Yeah. And that, to me, that sounds like such a crucial thing is,
Yeah,
can they deliver on the promises that they made to you
yeah,
in the interview process? And who
yeah,
cares about a title ultimately? But yeah, that's good stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think about, like, in my career, um, as an employee when I was younger in my career, yeah, I was so concerned about having a certain title. And I remember one time a boss who is still a friend of mine today, and he goes, Daniel, focus more on getting the damn job done, dude. Like, go out and kill it doing
yeah,
what we hired you to do.
yeah,
Then I'll pay you more money and I'll give you whatever title you want. I don't care. But, like, prove that you can do what you told me you can do when I interviewed you. And that this was 15 years ago, maybe closer to 20. But it was an eye-opening moment of like, oh yeah, dang, he's right. Like, quit worried about a
yeah.
title and let's go and do what I said I can do. So yeah, that's good stuff. I like that.
Now,
So
let me ask you, what made you, change your mindset? Because a lot of, in the industry, you don't find a lot of people who believe in like doing the goddamn job,
Yeah.
versus at the same time like thinking about their about the shortcut of holding the titles and to kind of like make progress in industry, and move and get promotions and get hired by top companies, etc. How did you change your mindset?
Well, yeah, I mean that the friendship, the relationship that I had with him,
Hmm.
we had very quickly, and it was kind of interesting because the even the interview process with that company was like a 4 month interview process. So by the time I already got the job, I've already felt like he and I had kind of made a
Okay.
connection. And like you said earlier, we had already kind of built that trust. And when he said that, it was kind of interesting because this was my first job here in Austin, and Austin is such a big city that there were like I think 12 or 13 other people doing exactly like I was doing, and we each had a territory, in the Austin metro area. And it just so happened that my boss happened to live at the same exit that I lived at, which obviously no one else had that. And so pretty quickly it was like, hey, you want to grab a beer after work? So I mean, like my first week or two on the job, he and I at the end of the workday, 1 or 2 days a week, we're grabbing a beer. So I mean, we're very quickly kind of building this relationship. And yeah, so it was when he said that, I could probably think of other bosses that it may not have had that same impact, but we had already built that trust, we had already built that relationship. And he said it in kind of a way that I don't know. I'm very thankful for him because it struck a nerve in here, and it
Yeah.
was, the ego is a fascinating thing. And when you can somehow, some way minimize that ego and be able to open your ears and kind of your that that head chakra, and get in, and
Yeah. It just hits
it
you. Yeah,
was
it just hits
fascinating.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so I'm very, very thankful for that. That's for sure.
Awesome.
So when you think back to, your career, the beginning of starting WeCP, and of course, it sounded like from what you said, I mean, you and the other people around you in that, beginning, those early stages, y'all were seeing problems, right? You were, I mean, that right. This is the
Yeah.
foundation of your company, right? Um, but how do you go from saying, "Hey, we see this, we are actively trying to poke the bear and find more of this." I mean, how do you go from that to where you are today? I mean, can you think of specific kind of monumental moments where you had to pivot or had to go, okay, man, we're here and we want to be there, and how do you get to there?
Yeah, I think our um, like important milestones came when we made a decision that look, we want to sell to enterprises,
Okay.
and we because understanding the actual problem was was more important than building the product. And
Hmm.
therefore, we what we did was like we
Wait,
understood,
wait,
hey, what
wait.
is
Say that again. Understanding the actual problem is
yeah,
far more than building the product.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
God, that's good. I love it.
So what we did was we said, look, can we identify a problem that is important, frequent, and urgent? Because people will pay
Hmm.
money for that. And therefore, we always like we did some experiments around like our go-to-market strategy, and how should we position ourselves. And it's like, okay, let's solve that problem, which is important, frequent, and urgent. And if we really solve that problem, people will give you money because it's important, it's natural. Like businesses strive to solve problems which are important, urgent, and frequent. And that gave us huge signal around enterprises. We figured that enterprises with the right customers we should go after. We closed a deal worth about $150,000 to start with. And that, gave us a lot of confidence because we were just like few people, 3 to 4 people, and, sitting on $150,000, dollar deal. And now we got to like make sure that user experience is good. Now we got to make
Yeah.
sure that what we promise gets delivered in time. So
Yeah.
that process was about product building, but selling that particular the concept that you have an important, frequent, and urgent problem, and there is something that we can do to solve that. I mean, that moment of about say 1 to 2 months where you really understand problem and then you contextualize with product later after understanding the problem, and then you bring in customers and all the stakeholders. That's where you build product. So I think, long story short, I feel that as a first time founder, and that this applies only to the first time founder, when you start, you have no product, no customer.
Yeah.
So you got to learn perception management. You got to learn how you're perceived, how your team is perceived, how your solution is perceived. Somebody will believe in you, and you will get one customer. Now you have one customer, but you have no product. Then you got to learn panic management because you want to make
Mm.
sure that your customers don't panic. You promise them, you deliver them, and when you know get like 10 such customers, you will have customer as well as product. Now you got to learn people management. So I think these are the 3P journeys that I see as a first time founder you largely have while building a business, especially software business.
Yeah. I love that. So as did in those early days, did you feel that there was a focus? Of course you had a focus on the problems, you had a focus on the product. Did you make a concerted effort to focus on the people that would be working within your organization and kind of the culture that you were building?
Yes, we do, because like I said, um, the second stage is panic management. You got a customer. You are in the process of making your product more mature. You're trying to like solve all the problems, make sure that you build a right user experience in the product. You will always have lots of customers, and your team internally is like struggling to match to those timelines. You're not able to release features in time, and on the other side you have customers who is like, hey, when can we go live? This problem is important, urgent, and frequent for me. Where is the
Yeah.
solution? Can you get me like quickly? Because you are solving an urgent, important, frequent problem. Since you're solving an urgent, important, frequent problem, the supply and demand, you know is highly volatile. Like you have to like make sure that you keep moving fast and iterate fast. So at that time, managing people on your side and managing people on the customer side is important. As a founder, you have you know, two families to take care of. Like one is your own team, and another is the team of your customer. And
Yeah.
therefore, how do you navigate their emotions, and how do you navigate your team's emotions, and make sure that they stay happy with you, and they become builder as part of your company. It's crucial. So I think that's where I learned a lot about how do people how communications can make big change,
Mm.
especially within teams, and within teams of customers. So I think communication was a key learning that I had, in those times.
So if I were to, which I'm not going to do it, but if I were to reach out to some of your existing team members, your employees working around the world, what might they say about the company culture that y'all have created?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. One is clarity. We
Mm.
respect, like we really appreciate clarity in our company. So everybody, um, they want to make sure that they are respectful for others' time and attention, and a culture where we nurture clarity. If they're gonna book a meeting with you, we'll make sure that they're very clear about what this meeting is about. If
Mm.
if they're doing any conversation, even if they speak a word, it's like to make sure that it has substance, it has clarity. I think clarity. Anybody who joins VCP definitely gets very good at clarity of thinking. That's one culture we've always strived to build. Second is culture of building, which is if it doesn't matter you are in engineering, you are in design, you are marketing, um, or you are in sales. It's all about building. So fundamentally, I believe that there are two teams in any company. One is company who builds product, and one a company who builds customers, like users for that
Hmm.
product. Fundamentally, they are just two teams. So you gotta like make sure that both are building something, right? And
I love
your
that.
yeah. So that was my learning, and I mean one culture that we could build, that culture of building, and the third one, which is of course everywhere in most of the companies you find that was like culture of fun. While you're doing that, you're not just doing this because you're working in a company. It's just because you're really enjoying that. So we have interview questions during the hiring process, like, where we try to understand what really makes you go, like what really makes you join, let's say 7 a.m. call or 5 a.m.
Yeah.
call, and it's like, what do you really like about doing what you do? So these kind of deeper insights is what we want to learn from candidate when we interview them, and we try to like make sure that we pick the right people who really enjoy the work that they do. For example, you never worked for anyone, but look at the depth. I was looking at your podcast, and you've done so many podcasts. You enjoy doing that, and I think, irrespective of what you do, as long as you enjoy, the culture always gets richer and richer because you meet more
Yeah.
people who enjoy their work. Yeah,
Yeah. It is, getting to do this podcast. We're coming up on our 5th year of doing this podcast. And when we first started, we were only doing in-person interviews here in Austin, which, hey, we've got a lot of fantastic and
yeah,
brilliant CEOs and leaders in Austin. And then somewhere along the way, we made the shift to, we want to cast a wider net. We want to be able to meet and interact with and engage with more leaders all around the world. And man, I did an interview last month with a CEO in Korea,
okay,
and just in this process of learning and discovering new technology and seeing what so many companies are doing, it is crazy. And it's been such a fun, exciting journey. And even you, I mean, we connected on LinkedIn probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I mean, not a
yeah,
long time ago, but
yeah,
even in that time, seeing some of the things that you're posting and how you're engaging with people, and I would be lying if I say surprised, but like today, I feel like I was already excited. We had to kind of pivot with schedules a couple of times, and so that kind of builds a little anticipation. So I was already excited for our interview, but then as we've talked and as we've especially in the kind of the opening of our time today, yeah, seeing the poise and the passion and the um just the love for what y'all have created and what it is that you're doing. Yeah, there's something that like lights a little bit of a fire inside of you. Like, man, this is, it's so cool because there's so much negative stuff going on in our world today. But to be able to have these moments, it makes you excited for the good that so many people are doing. And I really do appreciate it. So yeah, it's it's
yeah.
been it's been fun so far. So
No, thank you, and I truly appreciate you know, mm, I mean, you doing this podcast, bringing a lot of people to share their experience, what they're doing. Because, yeah, of course, like there are a lot of negative, um, elements around us, but I think what keeps the world moving and getting better and better is trying to trying to discover, understand the world in a better way, try to like increase the abstraction level so that more and more humans can get benefited. And especially like technology has a huge role in this because um, most of the technology is trying to like make people's like the first order intention of technology is like get make people's life better
Yeah.
and like building a community around that is a great work because the amount of knowledge people can share and gain and like I tune to so many podcasts. I learn from them a lot. I'm sure like this is going to be beneficial for many more people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we record this today, we're in March of 2025. So, as you think about the remaining 3 quarters of this year, I mean, what are the things that excite you the most? What are the challenges that you think you're going to face as we head into the next quarter here?
Yeah, I think the in the next 3 quarters, my team and we are all, you know, heads down on building, something which transforms people's life, maybe starting next year or towards the end of this year, and really, start transforming their life. And the way we're gonna measure it is, you know, the highest amount of impact or result they can get through our business with least amount of effort. And
Mm,
that's what we're trying to design and trying to build some VCP in a way which creates maximum impact with least amount of effort. Now, to be more specific, we're trying to build world's you know world's best recruiting AI recruiting platform, which means you can a candidate can upload their resume, um, and get a job offer the fastest possible. And while company can find that and look at like job market like recruiting is basically transfer of trust, right?
mm,
It is transfer of trust from recruiters to hiring manager, and that transfer is like broken right now. The transfer of trust is like not reliable. The transfer of trust has integrity issues. And we feel that all of these can just be API calls, and and AI can really transform that while keeping human in the loop, of course, like making that process more transparent. Right now, we are a talent assessment platform. We only measure skills. We let them measure skills, and we interview, let them interview people. But then we're also trying to like bring in the candidate side of like make sourcing possible and manage the end to end, recruiting for the world. So I think recruiting is gonna like have a massive transformation next year, starting 2026. You'll see that the world will have a very new kind of recruiting methodologies, and that's what we are very excited about. So hoping that we keep up to that, and towards the end of the year we launch some breakthrough transformation for our customers and users in the world.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm excited to stay connected and see as y'all continue to make
yeah,
leaps and bounds and have some of those breakthroughs.
yeah.
I definitely feel like they y'all are in a good position. As from what I can tell, it definitely seems like you are on the right trajectory. I love to see that.
No, thank you. Ultimately, the vision of our company is that how do we make recruiting interview free, right? Like, what you want at the end of the day is like the best guy to join you in the conference room, in the
Yeah,
meeting room tomorrow, and you shouldn't be able like be bothered and worried about the transfer of trust that I just spoke about, right?
yeah,
Let that transfer of trust happen in the right way, for all everyone's good. So I think by 2020 by 2030 we will see that coming for sure, like, or at least like if a platform suggests you like 10 hires, I'll say, hey, you can skip interviewing the top three. Like, you can interview the rest seven, but I guarantee you, and there can be some insurance plan as well, for people getting hired. So I'm super excited about how recruiting
mm,
gets changed, and yeah, I'll keep you updated as well. Thank you.
yeah. So as we kind of work to wrap up here, one of my favorite things is to do a little this or that. And as I always do, if there's, I'll say two things. If it's neither of those, then tell me what it would be instead. But my first one, I always start because I'm a golfer, golf or tennis. And I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. It may be something not on that list, but golf or tennis, Abhi.
I would go for tennis.
Tennis. Okay. Now, do you actively play tennis or do you play other sports?
Oh well, coming from India, I've started playing cricket first, right?
Okay.
Then I play volleyball, I play football, I play tennis as well. But I'm more regular in football than tennis. But yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay.
if I have to choose like the second sport, I'll choose tennis now.
Okay. Do you, so in San Francisco, are you in like a group that regularly gets together to play football?
Not really. In the last six
Okay.
months, I've not been able to like play any game. But all my universities, I did that. Played cricket and football a lot. Tennis,
I love it.
I do play with my friends.
Okay.
So yeah,
Love.
pretty much into sports. Trying to like juggle around and learn more sports and play more. Yeah,
Yeah. Good to keep active. I love it. I
yeah,
try to keep
yeah,
active.
yeah,
So
yeah.
second one, tea or coffee? Tea or coffee?
Oh, tea.
Tea. Okay. How do you take your tea?
Oh well, again coming from India, Indian tea is very different. Like I think, we try to you know have milk and good proportion of like water and milk, and then have special kind of tea leaves and have the Indian style of tea, which is like warm and you need to something on the side to serve with it. So I love those Indian
Like
tea
something to
with
eat on the side?
yeah, yeah, something to like maybe cookies and something snacky and
Okay.
you can just have it on the side. I think I love it, but like my guru these days my guru is enter Starbucks, get one oat milk cafe mocha and that's my like go to for the non-stop for last like many years now, which is coffee, but I really enjoy having tea.
Yeah. Now, are you like a daily afternoon tea guy?
I'm a evening tea guy.
Evening. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I worked several years ago with a friend who was from India, and he was so nice because every single day at right about 2 o'clock, he would walk by my desk and ask if I wanted to join him for afternoon tea. And I tried to as often as possible, but I love, there's something about just a small daily ritual. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this one, I'm very excited to hear, especially knowing where you live. Mountains or beaches?
Oh, beaches.
Beaches. I love it. I love it. That's what I was thinking you might say. How far are you from the nearest beach? Because you said you live in downtown San Francisco, yeah?
Well, so the nearest beach is Ocean Beach, which is 5.5 miles, about 6 miles from here.
Okay.
Yeah, just like maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. I love it.
Considering the, SF traffic sometimes
Sure.
gets naughty. Yeah. Otherwise, it's pretty close to my house. Yeah.
I love that. All right. Whiskey or beer or otherwise?
Well, I've tried like, ignoring cocktails as much as I can in the last, I
Sure.
think, 5, 6 years. But if I have to choose one, I'll go with whiskey.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm currently sober myself. Um, But one of my good friends, he's been sober much longer than me, and he's actually got me into like if we'll go out, we'll get a nice mocktail.
Oh,
Because yeah, there's something about the having the nice looking drink that still kind of looks cool,
yeah,
but avoiding the spirits themselves. So yeah, I
yeah,
I definitely appreciate that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
now probably my second favorite, which is why I do it at the end. Are you more of a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, morning person. I love mornings.
Okay. Yeah.
I love mornings. I love waking up at like 4 a.m., 3:30
Okay.
a.m. Like put some music on the side. Like a cool kind of lo-fi or maybe cafe music, and then start my day. Maybe hit gym slightly around like say 6 or 7, and then start my day. And I think I really love mornings.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Abhishek, it has been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed having you on the podcast.
Same, Daniel. Thank you so much for having me, or I love speaking to you. Thank you so much.